Hi children, good morning. How are you all? Hope you're all staying good and healthy. Now let us start a new chapter. Chapter 3, Sulfur. So these are all the 4 topics we are going to learn in this chapter. And by the end of today's class, you will be able to know some sources of sulfur and its physical properties, uses of sulfur dioxide, how to manufacture sulfuric acid, and the properties and uses of sulfuric acid. The first lesson is about the introduction about sulfur. What is sulfur? It is a non-metal and a common element in the Earth's crust. It is mainly found in the Earth's crust. Please look into the periodic table and find out its position in the periodic table, like its group, periodicity, atomic number, mass number, and so on. What are the sources of sulfur? Sulfur found as an element as well as a compound. As an element, it is found in underground beds in several countries like Mexico, Poland, and USA. So, as an element, sulfur mostly found in these countries. And as a compound, it is found in petroleum and natural gas. What are petroleum and natural gas? They are fossil fuels. Next, we will see about the physical properties of sulfur. Sulfur is a brittle yellow solid. Brittle means as though they are strong, but when a small force is applied or when the stress is given, it can be broken easily. And it has low melting point. It will not conduct electricity, as well as it is insoluble in water, which means it does not dissolve in water. In this lesson, we will learn about sulfur dioxide. So what is the chemical formula for sulfur dioxide? SO2, dioxide, so O2. Okay, how sulfur dioxide is formed? When the sulfur burns in air. So see the reaction. Sulfur in solid state burnt with oxygen in gaseous state to give sulfur dioxide. It is a colorless gas. See, sulfur is yellow in color, but when it burns with oxygen, the gas is what? Colorless gas and heavier than air with a strong choking smell. This is the character or properties of sulfur dioxide. It is a colorless gas, heavier than air with a strong choking smell. What are the uses of sulfur dioxide? The main use is it is used in the manufacture of sulfuric acid. So to prepare sulfuric acid, mainly we use sulfur dioxide, and also used to bleach wool, silk, and wood pulp for making paper, as well as used as a food preservatives for things like dried fruit, jam, as it stops the growth of bacteria. So these are all the main 3 uses of sulfur dioxide. Next is the very important lesson is about manufacture of sulfuric acid. What is the formula for sulfuric acid? H2SO4. How sulfuric acid are prepared? Most sulfur is used to make sulfuric acid. More sulfuric acid is made by the contact process. So name the process by which the sulfuric acid is manufactured. By contact process. process. Let us see the steps in the contact process. The raw materials are sulfur, air and water, or sulfur dioxide, air and water. The sulfur dioxide is obtained when sulfide ores such as lead and zinc ores are roasted in air to extract the metal from them. Starting with sulfur, the steps in the contact process are: first, the sulfur. In the first step, sulfur is burned in air. So what is the reaction? S plus O2 gives SO2. So sulfur dioxide is produced in the first step. In step 2, it is mixed with more air. And in step 3, it is passed over 4 separate beds of catalyst. Say here the catalyst used is vanadium 5 oxide at 450 degrees Celsius. So the catalyst is used to speed up the reactions. And the reaction is 2SO2 plus O2. That is, it is mixed with more air. And the product is 2SO3. Sulfur trioxide is produced, and it is a reversible reaction. So the reaction in step 3 is reversible. The sulfur trioxide continually break down again. So the mixture is passed over 4 separate beds of catalyst to give the reactants further chances to react. Then in the step 4, it is dissolved in concentrated sulfuric acid. What is dissolved in the concentrated sulfuric acid? Sulfur trioxide. And what is formed? A thick fuming liquid called oleum. Oleum is formed in the step 4. So sulfur trioxide is removed between the last 2 beds of catalyst in order to increase the yield. And the reaction in the step 3 is exothermic, which means lots of heat is produced. So yield rises as temperature falls, but the catalyst will not work below 400 degrees Celsius, and it works better at higher temperature. So 450 degree is the optimum temperature should be maintained. To keep the temperature down to 450 degrees Celsius, heat must be removed from the catalyst bed. So pipes of cold water is coiled around them to carry heat away. The heat makes the water boil. The steam is used to generate electricity for the plant or for heating buildings. In step 3, increasing the pressure will increase the yield of the sulfur trioxide. But in practice, the pressure is increased only a little. And in step 4, the sulfur trioxide is dissolved in a concentrated acid. What acid? Sulfuric acid instead of water, because with water a thick dangerous mist of acid forms. Okay, and at last, when the water is added with sulfur trioxide, we get sulfuric acid, H2SO4. This is how the sulfuric acid is prepared by the contact process. In the last lesson, we will learn about properties and uses of sulfuric acid. In the previous lesson, we learned how sulfuric acid is manufactured. By which process? Contact process. Now we will learn about properties and its uses. First is the properties. Concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent. The meaning of dehydrating is what? Removes water. If a body is dehydrated, doctor says your body is dehydrated, drink more water, which means body has less amount of water. So the body needs more water. That is the meaning. So mainly concentrated sulfuric acid acts as a dehydrating agent. It removes water, not from the body, as a chemical, its properties. And dilute sulfuric acid is made by adding the concentrated acid to water. So how dilute sulfuric acid is made? By adding by adding concentrated acid to the water. Please be clear that never add water to acid. Add acid to water, because so much of heat is produced that could splash out and burn you when you add water to the acid. So always add acid to water. This is how dilute sulfuric acid is prepared. So I repeat again, dilute sulfuric acid is made by adding the concentrated acid to water and never the other way round, which means never add water to the concentrated sulfuric acid. Why? Because so much heat is produced that the acid could splash out and burn you. So always keep this point in mind. Next property is dilute sulfuric acid shows the same reaction of acid. That is how the acid reacts with metal. Acid, when reacts with metal, it gives salt plus hydrogen. For example, when sulfuric acid reacts with iron, Fe, what is formed? Iron sulfate, FeSO4 plus hydrogen gas is evolved. So these are the properties of sulfuric acid. What are the uses of sulfuric acid? The sulfuric acid is mainly used in making fertilizers like ammonium sulfate. Hope you all know the uses of fertilizers from previous chapter. And also sulfuric acid is used in making paints, pigments and dyestuffs, and also in making fibers and plastics, also soaps and detergents. It is also used in car batteries. So these are all the uses of sulfuric acid. Hope you all understood the class. Please go through the textbook, read again and again for better understanding. Okay. Homeworks and worksheets are uploaded in the Moodle. Please complete your homework and go through the worksheets. Complete that. Study well. Stay safe and be healthy. Thank you, my dear students. Take care.